All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the broken. What the fuck is this called? Okay, the Broken Tupperware podcast,
Not
episode
not even a
3.
minute in, and you're already swearing. Not even a minute.
Dude, it's
I
not
can't believe
even
you.
20 seconds in, and I've already said the F word. Anyways, we are doing a podcast about conformity. Conformity in society. This is not a podcast to help us study our test in psychology.
Yeah,
And
that's something entirely different. That's not related
no.
to this.
And if you're watching this podcast on Friday, um, and you had the same test me and Praj are having, you're like, hey guys, what the hell? I could have used this to like get a better grade on the test. Well, joke's on you. No, wait, no, Praj,
Joke's on you.
Praj. You know how like, okay, so you know the test is on Wednesday, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
tomorrow. Yes.
I'm gonna post the podcast tomorrow, and I'm gonna have it like like how you on YouTube you can have things post a certain time. I'm gonna have it post during the period while I'm taking the test.
Jacob, you do realize that the format's going to be different with this test. It's going to be here's the questions, but you have to complete it in a certain amount of time. It should only take like I was gonna say half the class period, but
It's 20. How many questions is it? 20 or 25?
it's either or, meaning it could be 22
Well,
minutes or 27 minutes.
no, it's points. You multiply point 7 times the amount of questions because like that's what it is. It's like point 0.7 of a minute per question. So if there's 20 questions, the test will take 14 minutes. You'll have 14 minutes to complete the test. If the test is 25 questions, you'll have like 18 minutes. I think he said we had 18 minutes to complete the test, so I'm pretty sure there's 25 questions.
I don't know. But for the random strangers out there who don't even know what we're talking about,
Fuck
again, this
off.
is not to study for a test. It's something entirely different.
No, we wanted to talk about conformity for a while, and then we're also going to touch on the stuff that are. I should not stand away from my mic. We're also going to touch on the stuff from
Wait, you're
like
standing?
no, I'm about to like plug my phone in because it's dead. I'll just
Oh,
finish my statement and I'll let you talk. No, we're also going to touch on other things on the test, but the main thing of this podcast is going to be about conformity. So, yeah. All right, Praj, just like talk for about like a minute or so. I gotta go find my phone charger real quick.
okay. Well, so, as we all know, conformity is just about, it's really about agreeing with other people in either a group or just agreeing with another person. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad.
All right,
You
I have my
know,
phone charged. I'm back. What's up?
conformity could be good. It can affect you in a good way.
Oh, we're talking about
For
conformity
example,
already.
if there's like some other person, if you're in a party and everyone's drinking and you've got that one guy who doesn't drink, you can conform with that one guy
No, that's not how
and not
conformity
drink.
works.
I know that's not how it
That's not
works.
conformity.
I just
That's
realized that's not how it works.
okay. Conformity would be if you're in the wild and everyone is running away from the tiger. If you also run away from the tiger, you'll live. But if you don't, you'll die. And that's why we have conformity because of natural selection.
Yeah.
Oh
uh,
yeah. Also, if you're eating the food everyone else is eating and staying alive, you're probably gonna survive also. If you want to be the brave soul that tries to new berries on the bush, you might die and not reproduce.
but you know what? You're going to be smart because you're going to be a nonconformist and you're going to discover new things that will benefit everyone else. And you'll be
Nonconformists are
called a
idiots.
genius for it. For example, those people that made the air, not the airplane, it's the Wright brothers.
They
It
made
wasn't
the
even an
airplane.
airplane.
They
Uh,
did make an airplane, and they're the Wright
is
brothers.
it really, was it called an airplane though?
Well,
That was called
yeah,
something else.
yeah, it was. It was called an airplane. That's what we call it an airplane because that's what they called it.
How do you know?
Well,
We
because
need to
if
see
they
the
called it something
documents.
else, the people who invented the first airplane, if they would have called it something else, we would be calling it something else right now. Also, dare I say, that most scientists were just conforming to other scientists in discovering stuff and taking the field of science up.
Because they wanted to be smart as well.
Yeah,
And they wanted the
that's also
glory.
conformity. Dude, you're a scientist, you invent some amazing shit, you just permanently put your mark in history.
Yeah, and that's a good. That actually can kind of work both ways between good and bad.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you could invent something that everyone likes, like the fridge or the computer. On the other hand, you could invent something like poisonous gas that everyone has nightmares about.
Mustard gas. Who invented mustard gas?
That's a great question. The person who invented mustard gas was obviously invented by Fritz Fritz
Oh, you know
Aber.
who?
Yes,
Did you have
he
to
was
do a
from.
research paper on mustard gas recently, or did you just Google this?
I totally didn't Google this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, Praj.
Yeah, I kind of. I feel like I should have known as well, because like, um, I do. Oh, did you ever see that show called Genius that talks about um Wait, I might be thinking of something else. When was mustard gas invented?
When? During, World War One. Before that,
Oh.
yeah,
Wait,
Um,
well, why do I recognize Fritz Aber then? I don't remember why I recognize him.
I don't know.
I know him from somewhere. I just can't place where. Which goes. Which connects to a very earlier psychology term called.
Misattribution!
That's not misattribution.
Yeah, it is. Misattribution is when you attribute the wrong people, place, or event to something.
Well, I'm not attributing it to anything.
You're attributing a different person to something else. Yeah, what do you gotta say about that, tough guy?
I have to say that that's not what it is. I'm not saying. I didn't say that, oh, he invented it, and. Well, actually, I kind of did. Actually, yeah, I did.
So,
Stop making me look bad.
I'm not making you look bad, I'm just... You don't want to pick an argument with me. Wait, what would you have said it was?
Oh my god. I was gonna say it's transience, but now I'm thinking about what the very first thing that I was going to say, that is misattribution, because I'm getting the time period wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't going to even use that as an argument, were you?
My argument was you got the wrong person. I completely forgot that you got the wrong time, but the correct answer is still the correct answer, even if you can't explain it. You know.
Yeah, it's like,
Alright. No, so, okay. Now, this brings up.
Anyway, getting back to the subject of conformity.
Yes, conformity. Let me make sure I pull up my notes for conformity, so we cover all the stuff that's related to conformity. And of course, it's not in the notebook. Hey, by the way, Paraj, thanks for not telling me about the homework assignment that you also forgot to do.
Wait, I thought you did it.
No, I didn't do it. And neither did you. So I come in, and he's like, alright, everyone pull up the homework. And
just ask, from now on, just ask me, was there homework if you're not sure if there was homework?
Day, okay, no, that was not your fault at all. But my point is that, can you stop hitting me? I'm doing a podcast here.
Your podcasts are gay.
Hold on moments, folks. We're having some technical difficulties over here.
Oh, we have an intruder in the podcast. We've got
We do. We have
an undesirable in the podcast.
Guest.
Undesirable. That's what we're going to call it.
Undesirable. She's in the out group. She doesn't have a podcast. Therefore,
She's part of the out group. She doesn't
she's
belong.
in the out group. We are the in group.
We know this stuff. She doesn't. She's obviously inferior.
Oh yeah, inferior both mentally and physically.
And so that's why we're obviously better, and she... Assuming it is a she. Yeah, it is a she, right?
That's my sister.
Yeah. That's why she doesn't belong.
Yeah, she's the out group, like we said.
And that's why we'll never get along.
Alright.
Unless he forces us to. With the super something goal that we just did.
No, Praj, it's super. It's not super. It's like superordinate.
Superordinate.
Yeah.
I know it's had super in it.
We're not forcing
yeah.
them to get along. Just they're more likely to get along because they both have to complete a task and like working together for a mutual goal.
Yeah.
Like for example, with
which then ends up
with Robert's cave experiment, which was like with like two 12-year-old boys from the same background.
22, not
yeah,
2.
2 groups, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you said 2 12-year-old boys. As if there's like a pair.
Yeah. Well, I mean 2 groups of 12-year-old boys. This was known as the Robbers Cave experiment, but conducted by Sheriff. And a way you can remember that is robbers and sheriff. Sheriff arrests robbers in the Wild Wild West. Just to keep that in mind. So
yeah.
But do not confuse Sheriff and robbers with the Stanley prison experiment.
I at least know the Stanford prison experiment.
I know it's Stanley's.
No, it's Stanford. The Stanford prison experiment.
I'm thinking of the one video game. You know what video game that's just
the Stanley Parable. You're thinking
of
the
Stanley Parable. I mean,
which has no relation.
Yeah, it does. It's like
as far as I know, it has no relation. As far as I know,
it's like you're trapped in a prison by a narrator, and you're trying to get out. And in the Stanford prison experiment, they were trapped in a prison and tried to get out. Even though they weren't actually trapped or in a prison, they just thought they were in a prison and trapped.
Which actually, the experiment was about people falling into those social roles.
Yes.
Which had 2 groups: the prisoners and the officers.
Yes, and the 2 groups grew hostile and discriminated against each other, and also like identified with each other. And there's also a social set or a set of behaviors as acceptable for each group.
Yeah, the officers, like, they were okay with the horrible things that they were doing. In fact, it ended up going so far that even the psychologist that was hosting?
Yeah.
Was performing the experiments, even start falling into his role as just
a warden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a warden.
But so we talk about these various experiments. So with the where's my Stanford experiment? The notes, like, it has all these aggression things, and there's just triangle of love.
Yeah, that was the funny part. It's like, oh, here's aggression, here's aggressive, here's instrumental aggression, here's frustration aggression, here's terrorism. And now let's top it all off
love,
with the thing that makes the most sense: love. That should have been put in either earlier or... Actually, no, that should have been put in earlier.
Yeah, it should have been like with attribution maybe, or changing attitude.
Something else that involves,
oh my God.
attributional bias.
No. Oh, here's my Stanford thing. Okay, so check mark. Yeah. So
I at least remember the Stanford Prison experiment. I at least remember most of it from reading it.
yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
What else? What else do I have? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did like a movie on it as well. I'm kind of
Oh yeah,
tempted to
there is
watch
a
the movie,
movie.
even though I heard that like it was interesting but wasn't like fantastic or anything like that. But
Yeah.
it's still curious as to what it looks like in the movie.
Oh really?
But
Yeah.
then again, the thing only lasted like 7 days, so
I mean, you could get some pretty good highlights in that amount of time. To be honest.
some sick highlights for the. Hey guys, I know that you guys are in a prison, but let's get some sick highlights for the movie, okay?
Sick highlights. Oh no.
What?
Sick highlights. No. But to be honest, so you want to talk? Okay, so in the experiment, there of course, we're gonna talk about in society. There's social norms. Yes, we know about this.
Yeah, we
Now,
know social
yeah,
norms.
we
In
know
fact,
so.
we follow the social norms. In fact, it's even in the school. Like,
Yes,
you know how, actually today I noticed most of the people, at least in one of my classes, most of the people were wearing gray. Either gray or like something that was similar to gray, like one of those dull colors.
yeah, like gray. Yeah. So continue.
But yeah, like I was, you know, like you see that most of the time in school, and it's like that's
That's
the
your
social
best
norm.
example for social rule, the color of people's
I said
shirts.
social norm.
Social norm. That's your.
Yeah, that's my
That's your
very
best.
best. The other best one is like that everybody swears in school.
Oh yeah,
I feel
that
like
is
that's
a
become
good
a
point.
that's become a norm. It's like, oh, here we have a lot of we have a lot of people that are swearing, so it must be okay to swear.
Well, like, I mean, it says a social norm is an unwritten rule, so technically in school, like swearing is against the rules. So I would say a social norm is just what like damn. I'm sorry, I can't swear. It's a Christian podcast. Would be just
Don't
raising your
say.
hand. You raise your hand when you want to talk to the teacher, you know. But some people break those social like norms, social rules, and there's consequences for doing so.
Yeah, you know,
In public, a social norm is, not slapping
it's
someone
mainly
across
just.
the face. If you do
I
that, you're
mean,
gonna
I'm
get
pretty
beat
sure
up.
that's very obvious what social norms are. It's
Yeah.
just like things that everybody does all the time out in society. And then you've got those few people that go and they go against them.
They
Like
go, fuck it.
like an example that was given in class was a teacher may have a ponytail, or uh,
I don't like where this is going, but continue.
that's what the teacher gave us. Like the teacher with the ponytail. Most of the teachers, they don't have, actually, I think about most of the male teachers don't even have long hair. There's no teacher I know that has long hair. There
No,
is,
there's one. There's
yeah, he's probably the one with the ponytail as well.
yeah.
Actually, I don't even think he has a ponytail, but still.
Yeah, what
There
anyway,
is one that
the
has
social
long
the
hair.
social norm is short hair, right?
Yeah, short hair and casual clothes and maybe a tie.
Yeah.
Maybe a tie that goes along with whatever holiday. But, other than that, you don't. They just wear the casual, except except for the stew. Except for the stew, what is it that he wears all the time? I don't remember ever seeing him wear casual clothes
What are you
like
talking about?
every all
He
the
wears
other
like
time.
he'll wear like a golf shirt kind of with khakis, and then wear like a jacket, like wear like a
A
sweatshirt
sports
over it.
jacket.
Yeah, with a
Yeah,
sports jacket. Yeah, but I mean, but yeah, and it's like okay,
but yeah, it's like you know.
No, but also, I like all the female teachers in our school. Like they were like dresses and like fancy stuff.
That was always something that I kind of didn't. I was gonna say I kind of don't get like um why people are so concerned about appearances.
Well, it's so you can
Like,
fit in with everyone else. Because
yeah,
that's like
but
you have a tendency to fit in with the group. You don't want to be labeled as the out group because of
yeah,
like
you don't want to
something
be
you don't
part of
wear.
the out group. So
No, so that's why you wear fancy shit. No, but like,
why does it have to be fancy?
well,
Start with
just style, like
fancy.
stuff in style. So how about and it's like group thing too because it's like if someone in your group is like I love Calvin Klein, it's like the best fashion stuff, and no one can test that. You just assume everyone agrees. You're like, oh shit, maybe I should get Calvin Klein. You know?
Isn't that something else where like you think everyone agrees, but they don't actually agree?
Polaristic ignorance.
Is that seriously what it is?
Yeah, it's polaristic ignorance. Because you're like, let me make sure real quick. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I think polaristic ignorance is like when you assume like everyone in your group thinks a way, and everyone else in your group assumes that same way, and it's like all of you together are just like ignorant. Let's see. Um,
It's gonna be a really, really long one.
yeah. Pluralistic ignorance is a situation in which a majority of group members privately reject a norm, but incorrectly assume that others accept it and just go along with it.
Oh.
So, like,
Wait,
so
where was that at though? When did he talk about that?
remember his example when it was like, you're in the classroom and the teacher's like, all right, anyone have questions about number 4? And everyone in the classroom's like, yeah, I do, but no one's raising their hand, so you just assume, oh, everyone else gets it, so I'm just gonna go along with it. I don't want to be the one person who doesn't know it.
I think the fact that I'm getting most of these wrong really does show you that I'm going to ace this test.
Oh yeah, I mean, what? Praj, we only gotten like one wrong so far. That was in this chapter.
It's more like you. Anyway.
I mean,
But now, how about what causes these? What can influence this?
the influence of others' behavior. So there's stuff like isolation of the group. So if you place two groups by themselves, like the influence is stronger because there's no new opinions coming in.
Yeah.
Lack of norms. So like if you go into a situation that you're unfamiliar about, you've never been in before, there's no norms set. So you
Is
have
it? Is it right if I interrupt you for a second or something? Here's the one thing that I don't like about this. Like, if you just ask me to list these things, I will not be able to tell you, like, just list it off without having the list there. Now, if you give me a test and I see the written stuff there, I'll probably be able to, like, tell which one is different, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, once you read these out loud, it's like, you know what it is, like, homogeneity of the group. Like, if everyone thinks the same way or, like, has the same opinion or, like, there's just something overall that's the same about everyone.
Yeah.
They're going to probably think the same way, you know, because it's like, oh, these people.
It's just
You know,
common
they think
sense
the
at that
same way.
point because it's like I don't think there's gonna be a question. It'd be like, which one of these? There's like maybe something like, it's gonna give like a scenario. Like there's a group and they're starting to think, which one of the reasons is not why they're thinking differently, and it's just common sense. So like
Yeah.
if you see the one, it's like, Fred here disagrees with everyone. Like, that's like, hey, that's
Like,
wrong.
Fred here secretly disagrees with everyone, but he decides to. But he is, or maybe let's say like everyone else has voted and Fred's the last one. Now he doesn't want to agree with everyone else, but he decides to do it anyway. Which of these best describes it, And then we
Yeah.
give like two that are going to be very similar.
But
And
ones that just better.
yeah, by the way, the answer to this one should be unanimous. If it's not, then whoever made the
Unanimous.
test. Yeah, unanimous. If you're
Mm.
that really only works if like you're the last one, and if you're outnumbered. It's because it's like other than that, it doesn't really fit in. You have to really be like the last person to vote because
Yeah.
you don't want to be.
The one person
I
that
don't.
disagrees.
Yeah, I don't think talk much about like why you wouldn't want to be the one person. Like I started thinking like, way back in elementary school, like the teacher would ask a question and everyone or give choices and then ask who chooses this and who chooses this.
Yeah.
You'd have like a majority of the class choose this, and you don't want to be like, and like this is the period of time whenever people make fun of you if you get something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Also, like when teachers are like ask you to voting on something like either extra recess or extra lunch or something like that, they always say everyone like close your eyes or put your heads on the desk, stuff like that. Because like,
Really?
yeah, remember like they would always say like, all right, close your eyes, put your head on the desk, raise your hand if you want this, and they would count it, and then they say, okay, everyone raise their hand if you want this. And it's because like if people had their eyes open, they would see like what the majority of people wanted and just vote for that anyways.
I only remember the times when like the teacher would like ask a question like that, and then like they did not just have everyone put their heads on the desk. Like they made it known like
Oh,
what you
really?
should.
No,
Yeah.
that's for like for multiple choice. I'm talking about like things just like asking everyone what they want. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I do remember those, but I do remember that there was some teachers that did it where it's like, what do you want to do? And then they don't have you put your head down. I don't remember what teacher it was though.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for multiple choice, it's like you don't want to be the one person that gets it wrong because you're the only person that gets it wrong, and
Yeah,
everybody's going to.
Idiot.
Yeah, everybody starts making fun of you. It's like that's way too big of an army to face by yourself. So
yeah. And it's like, and it's also with like situationism. Like if you don't know what the choice is, and you see like half the class say it's A, you're like, oh, it's probably A.
is that
Situationism.
No, it's not like when you attribute it to the situation, which kind of I guess that kind.
It's how it affects our behavior. So situationism is like, it's. I have written down. We look to other people in unclear situations.
For situationism.
Yeah, it's like social context. Maybe that's just how to behave, like not what the choice is. Like I think that's more like I don't think that's attribution. You're thinking of like the person unstable and person stable attribution. I think situationism is be like you go into like a dining hall and you don't know how you should act, so you see how everyone else is acting and you model your behavior accordingly. And like in this position would be like, oh, I'm a loud person.
I was thinking of like
talking loud.
I was thinking of like the reasons like that. That's definitely one of the reasons, like knowledge of the situation, knowledge of it.
Yeah.
If you don't know something and you see all these other people doing the same thing, it's like, oh, maybe this is the right answer. This is probably the right answer.
I know what to do now.
Yeah, and like even it can even be strengthened whenever it's like, say there's a group experiment, or Let's experiment in the class. Like you have your lab tables, and then the teacher gives his or her explanation, and you go and do it. Now, if the one person seems like the smart, if you have no idea what to do, and there's that guy that seems like the smart, you're going to ask him.
Mm-hmm.
And like he might even fall into he might be thinking of his social role. He might be worried about his social role and just give you an answer that is probably wrong.
But you're gonna believe it because he's the smart guy.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He must know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he doesn't.
I hate it when people, if someone asks you a question and like you get it wrong, it bothers me so much. If I think I've done that like once or twice before.
What?
Like someone would ask me a question and I'd be like, "Oh, it's like this," and then it's wrong, and I feel bad.
Oh. For me, I think I'm not sure if I do this all the time now, but most of the time, if someone asks me the answer to a question or how it works, I will say, I think it works like this. Give them the answer or give them the explanation,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
afterwards say, at least that's what I think happens. So later, if they decide to blame me, I'll say, hey, that's what I thought. I didn't say it was the answer.
Yeah, just be like, "Hey, it's probably this, but you should go ask the teacher just in case." That's just something easy, like
Which
balancing
kind of
equations.
does,
Balancing equations is easy. What am I gonna do? Trigger our whole school? You know what? I have the note of pages that has like the interpersonal attraction and the theories of interpersonal attraction, and the love triangle would go great on this page of notes. Like,
Where is that at? Interpersonal attraction.
it's on the page with social reality, and it's on the back of the notes of prejudice
Social
and
reality?
discrimination.
Oh, in the back of prejudice and discrimination?
Yeah, well, technically it's the front, but you know.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
front.
You'll move on to
Oh,
that.
yeah, that would definitely go with that.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that put with this? Why wasn't
Alright,
that?
So we're gonna, if you have the notes and you're going along with us after the test, I don't know why, we're just gonna like.
Yeah, if you have the notes and you're going along with us after the fact,
After
either
you've already taken the test, yeah, feel free to follow along with us. I don't know, maybe I should just publish this overnight.
don't worry, And either way, like if they do it after the test, it's like, oh, then either you like our podcast for some strange reason, what the psychology, you're just interested in us talking about psychology, or you're not really listening and you just have it playing in the background, all of our nonsense.
Yeah, we're like talking about psychology. Praj, we need to get in more arguments. Make it interesting. Okay. Okay, so Sternberg's triangle theory of love says that if it's a threesome, you're gonna love it some more.
That's great. That's a great way of wording it. If you
Nice.
cover all three bases, then it's probably going to work out.
He didn't really explain that much. Like, it's just like two of the things can lead to another. So like, passion and commitment can lead to intimacy, or intimacy and passion can lead to commitment. But it's like commitment really like I know it's with love, but usually commitment is after you already love them.
Yeah.
That one's dumb. Passion, intimacy, and commitment.
I can kind of see why, because the love at first sight stuff, and then it's like it doesn't work out
No,
later on.
that is
You can end up going with passion, such as passion that you can get intimate, get close, but then not be committed to each other. And so when you get married, you have all these arguments, and then it just goes downhill, and you either divorce or you just break up before you marry.
or you just toughen it out and take down the log haul.
Or you just toughen it out because I don't know why you'd. The only reason why I can see you toughening it out is if there's
Like,
if
man,
like exiting the relationship hurts either you a lot more or hurts you and someone else that you care about,
or
or
maybe
at
it
least
hurts
that
the
you should care
kids.
about. Yeah, like maybe you have kids. You can't just. Well, you can divorce, but like it's bad to do that when you have kids because
Yeah.
they're going to be without a parent. And it's going to be really hard to raise them.
Yeah, they have to, like,
Or like with some people, they accomplish that somehow. But
I mean, it can work, but at the same time, like, usually the kids turn out okay, but, like, usually, like, something is, like, a little bit wrong with them. Because I know it's, like,
there's something missing, I guess.
yeah. But it's just, like, very tiny. It's not like, oh, you monster, how dare you ruin your child. It's just like, maybe they have a little bit of anxiety now, or, maybe they have, like, a little bit of, like, commitment fear or something like that. But, oh shit, we're 35 minutes in. 36, actually.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
let's
We've been wasting a lot of time. Okay, we gotta get through a lot of
interpersonal
stuff.
attraction. I want to play Overwatch.
So, so
I,
interpersonal attraction, reward theory. We like those to give us the maximum rewards at the minimum cost.
it's like
That's
this.
kind of
It's an
obvious.
investment. The effort you put in, you should have like equal or more amount of rewards coming out. So
It's really more like schoolwork, It's like, which is like, I kind of talked about this with my mom, like why it's kind of going downhill and why the score system is kind of dumb because it's like it discourages you from going above and beyond because like why go above and beyond when you're going to get the same grade as someone who spent maybe an hour and they didn't even do it that well.
yeah,
So then you just start going like, oh, what is the minimum I can do to get this?
we talking about interpersonal attraction still. That's with like
um
liking people. Like reciprocal liking. Like
I kind of got
that's
a little bit off, but it's kind of
yeah,
related to it.
I guess, but yeah, we know what that is. It's like, you're more likely to like someone if you find out that they like you back.
You know.
Which is not the case for me. That is a complete and bullshit lie. Every time a girl finds out that I like them, they fucking like get scared of me and like run away like I'm a big, you know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, because we are kind of running short on time, let's
No, we're talking about
jump ahead
relationship
to
issues, Praj.
attribution.
Oh,
Let's
we're just
jump
gonna.
ahead to
Okay, real
attribution.
quick. Similarity. You have a lot in common. You're more likely to like them. Proximity. You have like an assigned seat next to them.
Like if you're close to each other,
Yeah,
you're
you
going to
work
probably like
together.
each other.
Okay, next one.
Reciprocal
Self-disclosure.
liking.
You tell each other's secrets. Physical attractiveness. They're really hot.
If they're really hot, you're
Dick.
going to love them. Reciprocal liking, that's just if you like each other, which that's really kind of obvious.
Yeah, that's kind of like
It's kind of obvious, right?
this is fourth grader dating shit. Okay.
Matching hypothesis. Basically, you tend to hang around with people that physically look the same as you,
Yes.
because like, you know, if you if your face has a bunch of acne, you're probably not going to hang out with a guy or girl that is like basically the next role model of the century.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
for multiple reasons.
it's like if you're a
One,
5, you're gonna hang around with a 6 or a 4 or a 5. If like you're 7, you're not gonna go with a 2. It's just stuff like that. Um.
anyway,
Uh,
expectancy value. Basically, you decide to go into a relationship that you think is going to benefit you.
yes.
You know? You start thinking about the benefits and maybe just the consequences in general. You want the relationship that'll benefit you the most.
Like, and it's also like this is common sense, but if you think the relationship's gonna work, you're probably gonna like them. Because it's like, why would
Yeah,
you go to a relationship thinking it's going to fail?
yeah,
Like, oh, I like this person and I'm gonna do a date her, but I know it's gonna fail after a week, so whatever. I want to do it anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, stereotypes. We know what
Also,
stereotypes are. Like
hold on,
all
Praj.
Asians, they get all 900%. They never
Wait,
use calculators. That some of them wear glasses. They all are clones. They're not. They're all clones. It's
wait,
not
Praj,
that
real
they're
quick.
from different parents. They're
With
all
the
just one person, really.
with the expectancy bias, expectancy value, it's like if you think the relationship's not gonna work and you go into it and it like fails, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy bias.
Yes, self-fulfilling prophecy. You start. Really, it's just like you. It's like this. If you think you're going to fail a test, you'll start doing stuff that will make you fail the test.
Yes.
Maybe not study, maybe purposefully stay up all night and again not study.
Not try
Or
during
maybe
the
just,
test.
yeah, during the test, like not recheck your answers or make sure that they're right, and then when you fail, you're going to say you knew.
Yep. No, but also there. Yes, you want to talk about prejudice and discrimination?
Prejudice. Prejudice is the basically you judge someone. It's basically just the thoughts about what this person is probably is. It's
Yeah,
like, oh,
and
this person, he's probably a jerk. It's the thoughts, not the action. The action is discrimination, which is
um, yeah, and if usually people that you discriminate against are in the out group because you're discriminating against them. And also, there's an important guy, Richard Lapierre. He conducted an experiment when he went to business owners and said, "How do you feel about Asians?" And they're like, "Nah, we don't serve Asians." But like before he asked them, he saw them serving the Asians when he just like kind of sat there. So, how do you remember Lapierre did the Asian experiment? Well, Lapierre. Well, how do you know that Lapierre did like the discrimination experiment? Well, Lapierre sounds French, and fuck French people, am I right? So, I don't like French people.
yeah, screw those spies, those
Yeah, you
baguette people.
backstabbing piece of baguette loving, croissant loving piece of French rude ass spies. That's Lapierre. Lapierre's a spy.
That dress all fancy and go ha 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 ha.
Shut up, Raj. You took it too far.
Anyway, so in group, that's self-explanatory. Just people
Yeah.
within your own group, like social circle or something like that. Out group everybody else that's not in that group. Out group homogeneity. Those people that are not in your group, they're all the same. They're all a bunch of scumbags.
They're all the same, but people in your group, no, they're different. Us,
You're
we're
different.
different. You play music, while I play comic books. But no, all those ravens, they just eat beer and hit their wives.
Yeah, all those filthy trash out there. All they do is drink alcohol all the time, beat their wives, yell at their children, and yeah, that's not at all. But
In group bias, like you're gonna like people in your in group over people in your out
which is
group.
obvious,
That's
really.
kind of like a duh.
Yeah, why else would you be part of that group?
Social distance, um, like you see a distance or similarity between like you and someone else, but that similarity or
Yeah.
distance doesn't
Yeah,
actually
and
exist.
the key thing is that you think that there's like similarities and differences. Now, there could actually be similarities and differences. The things that you're thinking could actually be true, but keep in mind, they might also be false.
Yeah, and there's also causes of prejudice. We know this, such as like the scapegoating, what the media says, people in your out group, discrimination, and
Yeah,
main thing,
people that, again, the out group, they're not the same and all that.
competition, especially with money.
And even the deadliest of all, conformity.
Oh god, not conformity, Praj. Alright, let me get another see what we need to talk about now. We'll talk about the bystander effect real quick.
Bystander effect, which connects to the Kitty Genovese
Yes.
incident. It's not really an incident, but it's more like the
What's her
Kitty
name?
Genovese murder.
Kay Generese.
Yeah, and in case you don't remember what that is, there was a woman in some place who was stabbed 32 times, I believe. And that entire time, there was I think it was 32 times. She was stabbed many, many times, and there was a lot of witnesses.
And she screamed very loudly.
Yeah, and nobody called for help. In fact, in the reading, it even says that there was a couple that heard it, thought someone called the police already, and actually sat there and watched it all happen.
What a shame.
Shame on those people for falling under.
Conformity.
Yeah.
Alright.
I
Let's
know
do
that we're trying to
attribution. We
talk
got
about
15
lighthearted
minutes to
things.
do attribution and aggression. Let's go.
Okay, so group effects of psychology, social facilitation. Basically, if there's a group, if there's a lot of people around you, or if there's other people around you, you're going to perform differently, you know? Like, maybe when you're by yourself, it's like me with piano. You know, when I'm by myself, I'm pretty sure that I can play a song perfectly.
But other people around? Nah. I'm gonna mess up now.
Yeah, which kind of goes along with the self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, I think I'm going to fail, and then I get very nervous, and then I actually start messing up. It's like, see, I knew I was going to fail, and then I just start messing up a lot, and then it sounds horrible.
Oh, well. Alright, so...
Anyway, social impairment. Basically, oh wait, no, that's not social facilitation, what I just talked about. What I just talked about was social impairment, which is basically what I just talked about, you know, like you perform worse if there's other people around.
Yeah, and
Social
social
facilitation.
facilitation is different, not worse.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite. The way it's worded here, it just says that you perform differently, but it's more so like you perform better when there's other people around you.
Yeah.
You know, like singers, or maybe if you like the attention, you know, you perform a lot better when other people are watching you.
Then there's social loafing. That's like...
Which I'm pretty sure that almost everyone that has been in a group project in school can relate to this.
Yes,
you
it's
know.
like, oh, I'm in the group, I'm not gonna work now because there's a diffusion of responsibility.
Well, yeah. Basically, you give less effort when you're part of a group, which, yeah, also goes with the...
Yeah. Group
Yeah.
polarization. It's like, if you leave a bunch of liberals in a room together, they go out of the room chanting shit like, not my president, down with the elite, you know, stuff like that. Because their ideas...
Yeah, like you put a bunch of feminists in the room, they're like, yeah, we should yell at the men because they yell at us. Yeah, you know what we should also do? We should also beat them up because they beat us up. Yeah, you know what we should also do? We should kill them because they kill us. And that gets out of hand.
Yep, it gets
That's
way
not what
too
they say.
extreme.
That's not at all what they say. But
No, then there's attribution theory, you know, situation versus dispositionism,
yeah,
you know.
situationism, that's just,
external
you know,
factors.
yeah.
Dispositionism, yeah.
Yeah, you know, stuff on the inside. Like maybe mood or... Yeah, the only thing I think of is mood, maybe your mindset, maybe your values, I guess.
Amount of sleep.
Yeah, I guess.
Alright, yeah, okay, I think everyone knows person stable, person unstable, situational stable, situational unstable. It's just like, person stable, the person's the same, that's why they act the way they do. Person unstable, person's changing, that's why he's acting the way he is. Situational...
You know, like mood. Like the mood, you know?
Yeah. That'd be
Your mood's not always the same.
Person stable would be like, oh, he's just an angry person. He gets angry a lot. That's why he's angry right now. Situation stable would be like, oh, he has a tough job. That's why he's so crabby. Situation unstable would be like, oh, his wife is leaving him. That's why he's suicidal. I don't know.
I feel like a situation stable is like whenever this thing happens, you know, the results are the same. You know, the results are going to be the same. Anyway, Harold Kelly's three attributions: consistency. You know, how similarly the individual acts in the situation over time. You know, like whenever you have problems at work, maybe you drink every time you have problems at work. Any problem at work.
Distinctiveness is like how similar the situation is to other situations. So stuff like oh, like your work every single day, someone walks up to you and steals your stapler, shit like that, and you're behaving, because like that happens every day. Like the environment's consistent.
Oh. When I saw a situation, I was like, oh, you have problems at work, you'll drink. If you're single and you have problems at work, you'll drink. But if you're married and you have problems at work, you're probably not going to drink, especially
Yeah.
if you have kids. It's the same, it's kind of the same thing, but the difference is there's a slight difference and you behave differently. There you go. I'm pretty sure that may or may not be wrong.
Whatever. Don't quote
Then
us.
consensus. Then consensus, basically just how other people react in the same situation. You
Like,
know?
if all your friends who have the same boss just go home and like drink a bottle or two, like you're gonna be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't break all my furniture and then burn it all.
Really? I thought that was like. Again, I keep using the, oh, you have problems at work. Some other guy has problems at work. Maybe he goes and runs all day.
Oh, that
If,
could be
like,
another good example. Yeah.
if some, and then, let's say it's like some other guy, he also has problems at work.
He drinks.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe he just.
He gets
This is
wasted.
It's gonna be a cruel joke. He just decides to kill himself.
Oh God, no, Praj. No, Praj. It's supposed to be PG.
Yeah, this is the person that's swearing.
We want our teacher to play this next year for free ad revenue for his classes.
Now
Now he can't because you had to make a suicide joke. No.
Anyway, self-fulfilling prophecy. We've talked about that enough.
Yeah, screw that.
Fundamental attribution error.
We already talked about that.
Which.
Oh yeah, never mind. We haven't.
We didn't talk about that.
FAE.
It's basically.
Yeah, so you assume a person's behavior is because of their behavior.
You think that oh, this person litters. They must be a scumbag.
Yeah. He's in jail. He must be a bad person.
Yeah, when really it's not even like the jail one is actually a really good example because so you went to jail.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be a stain on your record, but it's actually I'm not even sure how that works. What if you went to jail but you weren't guilty? Does that get put on the record?
You don't go to jail if you weren't guilty.
No, there are some people that are. Jacob, did you ever forget that one incident with I forget what his name is, but this guy, he ends up getting sent to jail because this woman thought he was someone else.
No, Praj.
And when they find the real person.
Praj, you go to jail before your jury, but after you're convicted guilty, you go to prison. Jail is just like the holding house where you are while you're still going on trial. So, someone goes to jail, that doesn't go on your permanent record, because if you get accused of a crime, it didn't happen unless it's guilty. No, it's innocent until proven guilty. So if you're proven guilty, then you go to prison. But if you're, getting tried, you remain in jail.
Yeah.
Anyways, just world bias. You're poor because you deserve to be poor. The world is just and fine and dandy. What's that? You got hit by a car? Well, you deserve to get hit by the car. What's this? I won $50? Well, I deserve to win $50, you know?
It's basically karma.
Yeah,
You know,
it's karma. Oh,
it's.
that is a good comparison.
I thought that was basically how it is. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
like
karma.
it's basically what everyone thinks. Like it's just karma. You know, like oh, I. You know, oh, do good deed. I do good deeds, and I won the lottery. Hey, you know, my good deeds paid off. When really it was just
Dumb luck.
you happened. Yeah, you happened to have the right
Yeah.
numbers.
False conscious effect. I feel like teachers do this a lot, where they just overestimate the people that agree with them or like understand the lesson, and they're like, okay, everyone gets it.
This is what it was. This is what I was looking for, like earlier.
Oh,
Like
really? False conscious effect.
consensus, false
Conscious.
consensus
Shut
effect.
up. Shut up. Shut up. No. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. What about?
Mm.
All right, changing attitude. We know the mere exposure effect. The more times you see it, this is why advertisements exist.
Yeah, you know, the more exposed to it, the more you're going to
Like
change your attitude to suit that thing.
Yeah. Central route of persuasion is just the content, the real meat of the evidence of it.
Yeah, you know, that's just what you see. It's the words.
Yeah.
You know,
Peripheral.
peripheral route of persuasion. That's basically all the extras. That's all the eye candy in the ads. That's basically what that is.
Yeah, like attractive language pulls on your heartstrings. The experts agree.
Yeah, you know.
Um, Cognitive dissonance theory. We talked about this. It's like people are motivated not to be hypocrites, so if you perform an action that's different from your beliefs, either you'll change your beliefs or you'll justify the action based on other beliefs that you hold.
No, I'm trying to think of a good example of that. People are motivated to have consistent attitudes to their behaviors. It's like, let's say you're in, oh my god, let's say you're in a room full of liberals, but you're not a liberal, and you don't agree with their views, but you're stuck with them anyway. And so the more time you spend with them, you start to change your views to understand them, and then you know what? Next thing you know, you're a liberal. The very thing you hated.
Well, that'd be if you believe that not expressing your true opinions is wrong. So you're in a room full of liberals and you conform to them, and then and that's like pulls at your cognitive dissonance, and over time you change your opinion. You're like, you know what? Maybe these ideas aren't that bad, and then eventually, you know what? I kind of like these ideas.
And then, you know, the next thing, like I said earlier, the next thing you know, you're doing the same thing that they do.
Yeah. The aggressions. Yeah. Next point. The aggressions. Okay, we have 2 minutes. The aggressions. You know, instrumental.
Wait, you forgot foot in the door and door in the face, which.
Oh yeah.
Foot in the door is basically you start small and then you start working up to bigger.
Yeah.
Favors.
It's like
you know.
Put your foot in the door and then you inch forward. Face in the door.
It's like gateway drugs.
Shut up, Raj. No, real quick. Face in the door is like, you start really high and then you lower it to get like a yes. Like you know they're gonna say no first. That's kind of like just like putting your head around the corner.
Effect.
Yeah, it's the anchoring effect. It's like it's putting your face in the door and be like putting your face in the door and be like, hey, what's up? And they're like, no, and back off, and then you back up a step, and then you step forward calmly. That's how I remember it. Face in the door. Hey, what's up?
I just remember as the anchoring effect.
Yeah, it is anchoring.
Is what those salesmen do all the time.
Well, the anchoring effect. It could be both.
Reciprocity. When a good deed is done to you, you will feel obligated to return the favor. You know. So you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yeah. What's that again?
In a nutshell.
What was that? What's that called?
Norms is reciprocity.
Norms are okay.
I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but
all right.
You know.
All right. You think we're good?
Did we get aggression?
Oh,
Instrumental aggression. There's a goal behind it, you know.
I don't like the
remember
cookie.
this. How do I remember this? Instrumental, intended. They both begin with IN, so,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And then hostile
Instrumental.
aggression, there's
Well,
no
it was actually
purpose.
Praj. Instrumental will be like the one time where I fought the evil dwarf of the South Lands to get my cowboy back. Remember that? That'd be instrumental.
Oh yeah, it's like in all those movies, whenever it's like, oh, you killed my dog, so I'm going to kill, actually intended to achieve a goal. Actually, no,
I'm
that's
gonna
just
make you
hostile
suffer
aggression.
by killing your daughter.
Oh my
That's
god.
instrumental. Hostile.
This is cruel, but it's like slavery in the way.
Oh yeah.
You've got the slave owner who will whip the slave to get them to do something. That's Why do I come up with such horrible
Hostile. Wait.
examples?
Hostile aggression is just like you're just being a dick. Like I'm just gonna. I'm gonna steal your diamonds and blow up your house because I hate you.
Yeah,
I stole your
oh my god.
diamonds.
I'm going to kill a John Wick's dog just because it was barking. And then I'm going to die because John Wick was not happy with that.
No. Frustration, aggression. It's like, oh, if you're frustrated, you're gonna be aggressive. Really?
And just like our teachers said, that's kind of obvious. You're
Yeah.
frustrated, it's going to aggression. Yeah, no, duh. Of course it's more likely to lead to aggression. Unless you're a sage, unless you're one of those like monks that are never mad.
I don't think that's possible. Do you think we're good? We're gonna
Anyway,
end it now? We're
cohesiveness.
overtime. Oh, yeah, cohesiveness.
Cohesiveness. Basically, the more you're loyal to the group, you're probably not going to create much conflict. Mutual ends. Basically, when the two groups need each other, like they need each other, then
Yeah,
they're
mutual
less likely to be aggressive.
independence. Yep.
Because they need each other to get this thing done. If they don't cooperate, excuse me, if they don't cooperate, not going to they're not going to achieve their goal. That's why they'll cooperate and
Right.
also not be as aggressive to each other.
Yeah.
It
All right.
creates cognitive dissonance.
All right.
And then terrorism.
Terrorism. That's just
Violent,
people.
unpredictable acts by small group against larger group for political,
I
economic,
think
or
we know what
religious goals.
terrorism is, Praj. Yeah, so thanks everyone. That's the end of the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this did not help you in any way, shape, or form. And
We hope that, yeah,
we'll see you in the next one.
yeah.